Subi, I really like what F. Dot said about, the eyeball test. Because in sports, I think that happens a lot. We talk about statistics and you can only read numbers so much. But when you're watching them play, it really tells the whole story, right? Do you see greatness? Do you see passion on the field? If you do, odds are this could be successful. I think that that's kind of what WDG represents. Like the whole team has just this formula about them that I think a lot of other teams have been struggling to find. Stromboli has found it in North America, but it's something that Notorious Legion needs to take into account. You can't just lock down one player. You need to lock down all of them, or it's going to be a long series.
It definitely will. And last week against RCD Espanyol, when We Dem Girlz was playing them, Ixo showed up. I think he's going to show up regardless of who they're playing, regardless of when they're playing. But Breezy and Greasy, both were nowhere to be found. No goals the entire series. So this is going to have to change for them to win this matchup as game one is underway.
So one of the things that really stood out last week was how physical Notorious Legion were playing around the field. Like they weren't afraid to go up and bump you out of net or demo and find ways to create mismatches, but you can't really find that same success against We Dem Girlz. It's pretty difficult to lock down these players, so they're going to have to at least slow the game down just a bit and keep control and containment on Ixo and Greasy. And of course, Greasy will always be in the back line to find those quick saves as they come in transition, but it's Taz underneath, and Matane will find quick goal in goal one of game one.
That's a poor clear here by Greasy. No one there on that corner other than Taz. A great read from him to put it back towards midfield. And Matane there for the easy finish. And there it is, Notorious Legion up early here in game number one.
And I think there's a bunch of different times and instances in this league where striking hot obviously is what you want to do, right? But it just doesn't happen. I think that specifically in this series, you want to strike hot. You don't want to get them out ahead early because we've talked about We Dem Girlz' ability to, once they get a goal, they continue that relentless assault. So being able to strike early and keep them on their back foot and continue the pressure at midfield is really Notorious Legion's best chance of the series.
Oh, Ixo almost doing a week one again. Love those shots that he tries to pull out coming off the opponent's back wall. And a misplay there from Taz, but Cash there for the follow-up. And one thing I noticed when they were playing last week, Greasy has to stretch for that one. And Notorious Legion doing a good job on offense here. But last week, or week two rather, when We Dem Girlz played and got beat in 3 games from RCD, it was simple. It was poor positioning. And I brought that up before we casted them in week 2 that, this is what they're going to have to focus on. They're going to have to work on positioning. They're going to have to work on missed touches. It's the simple things to fix. It's not glaring issues. Double commits are going to hurt them, though. That one comes out.
Yep.
Greasy there for the diving save.
One thing I am seeing, while they are committing full force, and this has been their problem for the most part, is that they triple commit like this, and sometimes they get caught off guard and you leave open nets. I think there was 4 or 5 goals last week that they had on them that were just open net misses. And here comes another shot. Cash is going to block it away. But again, that's just one of the things that worries me about this Notorious Legion squad is they have all the pieces, but again, like we see here, they are fully committing on the pitch, and if you leave a transition opportunity open, they're going to strike, and We Dem Girlz will make you pay for it.
Breezy, nice slow play there, but loses the ball. And I'm loving the pressure we've seen in the first half from Notorious Legion. They haven't given We Dem Girlz many opportunities here in game number 1. So far, 6 shots from We Dem Girlz, 6 from Notorious Legion as well. That's a good poke. And Cash looking for demos. They're playing very aggressive here. It's just a matter of if they can keep control here in the blue half.
Yeah, Notorious Legion is notorious for getting physical. They play for demos, they play for bumps. And that's really causes a lot of their opportunities, and that demo will favor We Dem Girlz for now, as Breezy's going to carry it and flick it over to Ixo, who sends it into the corner, trying to follow up. Unfortunately, Taz will cut it off, but not until Breezy tried, but it's underneath and Breezy gets a hit up. And it's easily taken away. So again, Notorious Legion playing good defense in the net, and they're stalling out in their half for now. Breezy will send it the other way to Greasy, who intercepts the pass back to midfield. And back into the corner we go of We Dem Girlz. But again, it's just back and forth, Subi. I don't expect anything less from these two teams.
And Notorious Legion's doing a good job of midfield control, grabbing those boost pads when they can to slow down We Dem Girlz. A minute and a half to go in this game. Ixo just off that side post, and a good cut there from Breezy to keep offensive positioning. Ixo again with a dive to keep the play alive, and the shot off the side wall is good. Tie ball game, 1:13 to go.
And this is just good positioning from EXO to read it off the back, go off the ceiling, hit it into the wall, and just find that open net, right? You don't often see a lot of players try to challenge that specific spot. You're kind of waiting for a bad bounce or a lucky draw, but at the end of the day, EXO striking early, and you talked about it. You said he's a player to look out for this week, and this week off might have really helped him.
For them to win against Notorious Legion, for them to win against any team, Breezy and Greasy have to show up offensively. They have to get goals because you can't rely on EXO. We know that this kid is something special. We know that we've only seen just a sliver of what we're going to for his long career. And Greasy and Breezy, they need to get some goals, and it needs to start here in game 1.
Well, for weeks 1 and 2, it was Greasy who kind of broke things open and allowed EXO to get comfortable, but I don't think we really give enough credit to Breezy, who allows these two superstars to do what they do. He stays back on defense, and he's always there finding ways to break apart plays. And this could be a very dangerous carry, and he gets the dunk in net, and Cash is able to connect and bring it down. Even though it was 31, it doesn't matter. It does just enough. And with 20 seconds left, Subi, we're looking at a 2-1 game.
And he jumped all the way from his own box to carry that downtown in EXO's face and slam it home. 20 seconds to go. Weedham Girls chasing 1. Breezy with the flip reset. Can't get the ball, but Greasy keeps it alive. 10 seconds remaining. This could be their last push. As the ball's in the blue half, they need to get this out now. They do. Breezy's up, but committed. Can't reach it. And Cash smartly keeps it on the ground, and Notorious Legion take game number 1.
I'm actually quite surprised with how that game went. There were so many instances where Notorious Legion had triple committed at midfield, and they left their back end completely open. So you just kind of have to tip your hat to them, right? They didn't give up too much pressure, and they were able to continue control of the ball once they got it into Weedham Girls' half. Like, they weren't giving up long booming clears, which would spell disaster completely. But again, I mean, you're looking at 6 shots, 3 shots, 2 shots for Weedham Girls. 12, I mean, that's a lot. So the shots are there. They just weren't able to make a couple of connects. But again, Notorious Legion coming out and just playing very well. Some of the issues are still there for me, which I'm worried about. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, right?
A win is a win. And when you've got Cash Money stepping up like that, it is going to be hard to slow Notorious Legion down. I mean, 1 goal, but that doesn't paint the entire picture. This guy has been all over the field, and he already has 20 saves on the season before this match even started. So you got to disrupt the flow of defense for Notorious Legion. If you're on Weedham Girls, I want to see demos in the offensive half. I want to see bumps. I want to see better midfield control. Those boost pads were about 50-50 in this matchup, and for Weedham Girls to win, when they're playing fast, that's when they're winning ball games. And to play fast, you need boost pads.
And so last week, same thing kind of happened. Notorious Legion took game 1, but in the last 4 games, they were outscored 12-3 in goal count. And of course, they dropped the series 3-1. So that's one of the things that kind of worries me going into this second game. Is yes, they were able to steal game 1, no question, but it was 2-1 again. And now you're going into game 2 and the rest of the series where those issues still linger. That triple commit is still a problem. So I'm interested to see how they adapt for Weedham Girls and how they're able to execute. But off the start, it's a save. And out to midfield, Matane can't follow it up. The Cash will center it for him, and a pass over the top bounces off the top of the crossbar. And they get a lucky break for now as Weedham Girls have to recover on defense.
That was just off the crossbar, a couple centimeters lower. That one was definitely going to be ringing home. And Matane, nice double tap off the ceiling there, and a good challenge from Cash. They've got numbers. The shot placement is there, and Taz wants to give Notorious Legion the early lead.
And this is just a good play off the ceiling. Sends it down, pinches a player out, and Taz is basically wide open. I mean, it's like shooting a wide open 3 in the corner. It's perfect. So they take a 1-goal lead to start game 2, and again, they're off to a hot start. Can they continue it? They could make us look dumb with our predictions, and that's a bump into the net and a dunk from Cash. Subi, I mean, this team looks completely different than week 2.
Absolutely beautiful air carry, and then gets the bump on Greasy. I don't think it mattered. He had that one in the goal 100%. Notorious Legion rolling downhill right now, and it's looking hard to stop him.
Now, off the start, what are you seeing from Weedham Girlz? I mean, in the previous play, it kind of seemed like they weren't challenging a lot of these carries. Do you think they just need to get more aggressive, or are they kind of waiting for an opportunity?
I think it boils down to their positioning. They're not challenging early enough. They're not being aggressive, and it's giving Notorious Legion a lot of space to work with. You see right there, good challenge from Breezy, leaves that ball in midfield, but no follow-up. Cash is there to easily poke it back in, so they're trying to go back for boost too much. They need to just focus on keeping good positioning so these shots and passes can't come out from Notorious Legion.
And it's also, again, good to harp on this point that Notorious Legion puts up a ton of shots in general. I mean, they didn't necessarily in game one, but last week they put up 15 and then 16 respectively. Like, they are not afraid to get in your face. It was just defensive issues that kept them out of the win column. So they're going to come after you. You have to be able to respond. But for now, it's going to be Ixo who sends it the other way into the corner. Now he gets a flick off, but Cash will immediately push it back to midfield. That's a good demo, but Greasy is there in the back line, setting it up for Breezy, who doesn't get the final touch, but no worries, Ixo on the ceiling will push it forward.
And see that touch from Ixo right there. He had Greasy in the center of the field, top of the box. No defenders were in sight. So I'd like to see a pass come off that back wall. And I know it's difficult to do, but in the rival series, these are plays that you're going to have to create yourself. Instead of just hitting the ball to the side wall time and time again, you've got to try and hit your teammates so you can run a transition offense.
Even when you're down 2 goals, you know? So it's difficult. You have to find ways to create opportunities. And the problem is when you start carrying it towards the corner, that just gives more room for Notorious Legion to move up, steal it away, and force you back on defense. But Cash slows it down on the wall, now flicks it over one defender, won't get it over Breezy. Into the corner again, Mitane off the ceiling, passes it forward to Cash. You could see the play develop, but it didn't execute the way they wanted. Now it's kind of stuck in Notorious Legion's half as Greasy gets a bump down, and Mitane will clear it back to midfield. But still, I mean, they're burning time, and now you're looking at 2 minutes for Weedham Girlz to make something happen, and here comes a pass opportunity. That's an open net and an open goal. They now have 3 goals in game 2.
And Cash has 3 goals in the series all to himself, and just a poor challenge off that back wall. Gonna lead to the 3rd goal, like you were saying, for Notorious Legion. Right now, Weedham Girlz have a ton to fix, and not a lot of time to do it in.
They look, Weedham Girlz looks incredibly slow today, and we usually think that a week off will help them fix errors and they don't miss a step, but it's often the other case, right? There are often times where teams do miss a step, and another shot for the left side of the goal wasn't going to fall, but I don't know, they just look kind of slow. They're losing some of these boost steals, and they're falling back on defense, and again, they haven't set up a lot of passing opportunities. It's really just been containment. They've been trying to control the ball and quarantine Notorious Legion at midfield, but it hasn't worked. And Cash has punished them with 3 straight goals. So again,
good bump there from Greasy.
Stuck in the corner for Notorious Legion. That's going to go off the back of the wall. Will anyone follow up? No. Cash would have been there to save it regardless. And Ixo flies over the top. And he's trying to slow it down. Oh, it might have been an own goal. I think Cash punched it through. Ixo carried it to the front of the goal line, and Cash might have gotten the last tap.
Oh, that's just you hate those bounces as a defender. So hard to read. Sometimes it's going to roll up the side of the wall. Sometimes it's going to kick out just like it did. And the defender chose to read it going up. Instead, it goes out. And Weedham Girlz get their first one here in game number 2.
That's so difficult when they're slowing it down. And you're not really sure where it's going to fall. But here comes Breezy. He sent it to the backboard. Ixo, I believe, got a soft touch on the side of the wall, and that's a booming hit to the back. This could be a follow-up. Tried to waterfall it. It's not going to work, but they've burned enough time. 36 seconds and counting. Still a 2-goal game. Entirely possible, but probably not. And another demo will come in favor of Weedham Girlz, but how do they elect to follow it up? It's intercepted by Mitane in the air and still stifled out into the corner. And Notorious Legion have just done a good job of closing this game out.
Yeah, they've just played smartly. They've countered Weedham Girlz' play perfectly. They're kind of saying, hey, we realize that you guys are out of position. We realize you guys are double committing from time to time, and we're just going to outsmart you in this scenario. Greasy with a last-second shot off target. Mitane with the save. And game 2 in favor of Notorious Legion. GG's all around, but right now, Girlz gonna have to pull out the reverse sweep. They'll be facing 2-2 in the rival series.
Girlz only had 3 shots in game 2 compared to 11 of Notorious Legion. So the differential is already bad enough.
Right.
But
well, I mean, this is indicative of their entire season. Girlz,
yeah,
they are actually last place as far as total shots go, which is crazy to me. It just doesn't seem right. But somehow this team is in last place for total shots.
Yeah. And I think one of the big tellers here is 1 save for Cash, 1 save for Matane, 3 saves for Greasy, 1 for Breezy, and 2 for Ixo. They've been forced on defense with no ability to fly back in transition, 0 assists entirely for Girlz. And now we're looking at a situation where we talk about week 4 being the week of personality. We've already seen weeks 1, 2, and 3 go by, and it's about finding your footing. Is everything working? Is it just luck? Are we really this good? Personality is now the big factor for most of these teams. Are your difficulties going to stay there? Girlz have the ability to manhandle people individually, but as a team, we've had question marks. And now we're kind of seeing that, whereas Notorious Legion had question marks as the ability of individuals of not overcommitting, and now they're fixing them, and we're seeing a complete blowout of Girlz. I mean, it's not been close, Subi.
It really hasn't, and the storyline has been Cash, and I think that's been the storyline every time we've watched Notorious Legion. Cash just seems to do crazy stuff up and down the field. He's just one of those players that's a Swiss Army knife. He just does whatever his team needs.
It's really been Matane kind of playing off the ceiling and setting up opportunities for Cash, but we don't even talk about Taz that much because they usually leave him as a third man back on defense when they have to rotate. Their biggest problem, again, was overcommitting, but he hasn't had too much trouble just kind of sitting back and intercepting these passes. And now he gets himself involved in the corner, and that ball is going to be dribbled away, flicked over by Greasy, and intercepted by Cash. Again, they put pressure at midfield, and now is an opportunity centered out for a player, but Greasy Meister was kind of sitting in the back line, and he tried to follow up, had no boost to work with, and now we're stuck in the front of the box.
That was a great touch there from Cash. Good bump from Breezy, and Ixo finishes it off. Good angle here. Good aggressive play from Girlz, and they get the first one here in game number 3.
Yeah, it's clear that Girlz is not going to outperform as a team against Notorious Legion, so their biggest advantage is just individual mechanics. You have to play one-on-one in the box if you can, and that's really where having an X-Factor like Ixo comes in handy. Off the ceiling, Greasy Meister wasn't able to extend it forward, but it's Breezy who centers it out. Greasy will not get the touch as Matane intercepts up to Taz, Cash now waiting, and Ixo will carry it off the back wall and flick it towards back midfield. As Matane intercepts, almost dunked it down. But again, we're looking at a situation where the pressure is all in Girlz' half as they finally find some room to work with. And back the other way as Cash will carry by himself.
Dangerous ball, Matane's up, the shot's there, and Breezy's awkward on that wall. Great shot placement coming out from Taz. Seeing Breezy on that right post going back and forth, trying to keep himself stuck to it, and he puts it left side.
Such a great pass to Taz off the wall, and it's just good centering all around, and that's what this team does. They put so many shots on net. It's like watching a goalie trying to constantly watch out for players flying down the wing. It's almost impossible to stop it sometimes, and that's going to be Taz carrying over, so the third man now in the front lines for those initials.
Oh, awkward ball here.
Underneath. Notorious Legion will grab that all day, every day. As they're going to carry it, no flick over Greasy, but Matane follows up off the redirect, and it's stalled out for now before Ixo hits it into the corner. Ixo now following. It's not going to connect. Back to midfield, and Ixo and Breezy should work in tandem here off the side of the wall, and they will. Ixo now carrying towards the front of the goal line, but it's Taz who knocks it away, and that third man comes in clutch.
And we've almost hit 30 minutes of gameplay with Breezy and Greasy without a goal. 30 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, Greasy was the guy who stepped up in week 1 and 2, leading the way for Ixo to open things up. And Breezy was kind of just there. He was playing great defense. He didn't really have to do much. And now we're looking at a situation where you're tied up, series on the line. This has been a very quick 3-0 if it's going to lead there, and you still haven't found a way to score.
Uh-oh, double commit for Notorious Legion. Opportunity here, and Breezy can't get the touch. He had Ixo waiting. Great clear towards midfield from Matane, and another 50-50 there. Good pressure here, but opportunity for We Dem Girlz as Greasy catches that on the side wall. Wave dash flick, and the net was open, but no teammate available, and Notorious Legion hang on.
That was just a rough miss. And Cash missed a hit in the net, and that led to that entire opportunity unfolding. But in transition is Notorious Legion. Let's see what they're able to do. So that's going to go off the wall. I don't think anyone's going to get centered for it, as Breezy will take it away, no problem. Now Taz going to be following in pursuit, as Matane was kind of sitting in midfield, and you could expect the bounce he was predicting. And centers it up for a teammate. That's kind of dangerous, though. Zeeks is going to send it into the corner, but Taz will clear it away. That bump doesn't help. Oh, it's just off the crossbar. And Greasymeister slows it down. Taz steals it again. These intercepts from Notorious Legion have really kept We Dem Girlz off the scoreboard.
We Dem Girlz looking for one here. Greasy, not enough speed behind his car there to follow up with a shot. And Cash, this is a dangerous ball towards midfield, but he does a good job of pushing through, following his shot, and carrying that momentum through the ball.
Still in control of Notorious Legion. Cash misses the hit off the back wall, no problem. Taz will be there. Now Ixo following. Is anyone centered? No. And it's these individual hits that don't set up for, passes that kind of punish We Dem Girlz. They need to start creating some pressure as a team in the box. Yes, your individual skill is great, but that's what's kept you out of winning a game in this series, is just your inability to find team pressure.
And I don't think we've seen one infield pass from We Dem Girlz this entire series.
Other than a couple of clearing plays, there has been really no passing opportunity. It's been all individual carries off the ceiling.
Well, that's a dirty flick from Greasy. Breezy!
God, if he made that work, I'm pretty sure we would have lost connection with our monitors real quick. But into overtime we go, into game 3. And this one's still in We Dem Girlz half. But again, Breezy's going to sit there all day, every day. He's going to find that. But Matane cutting it off in midfield, it's going to force Greasy to come out of the box. And that double commit usually will punish. But for now, We Dem Girlz stave off this push. As it's up for Cash to handle, and he does. Greasymeister flicks it over a player. Taz now. Matane's in net. He's
he hit him into the ball.
I was going to bump him out of the way for a second. And again, Notorious Legion are known for getting physical on the pitch. They will bump you and demo you out of your own net to create a number disadvantage in a power play. And Matane again, going to bump Ixo out. Here comes a follow-up from Cash. A bit timid. And allows Greasy to clear it out to midfield. So an opportunity, yes. Execution, no.
Oh, and Breezy's up. This is going to be dangerous. There's Ixo looking for the bump, trying to repay the favor. But Greasy keeps this ball alive. Taz going to leave it for Cash. I love the comms coming out from Notorious Legion here in overtime. Dangerous shot. Almost going under Breezy, but good D from We Dem Girlz.
It almost seems like We Dem Girlz is preventing the waterfall that is Notorious Legion. Like, they're trying to put their hands in front of the faucet and keep water back, but they just haven't been able to find a way to close off that pressure. And that demo will give them numbers for now. Forget what I said, they're back to full force. And still almost 2 minutes into overtime, and it's been all Notorious Legion, but here comes a pass. Matane over the top, that's going to bounce off Ixo, and it should be handled by Breezy, but Cash can cut it off. I don't think he got a touch. Taz now. Again,
Ixo was up last year for that challenge.
They have to be careful triple committing, Subi. I mean, the amount of times we've seen Notorious Legion send full numbers on these balls is dangerous.
Oh, they had the opportunity, but the shot just wasn't made, and Taz looking to put another shot on target. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
And they're just keeping the pressure up right now. Yeah, and they're getting boost steals. They've gotten both corners here, and Ixo, Greasy, Breezy, all low on boost here, trying to get out of their own zone.
The only thing that scares me, again, is just these commits. Sending 3 players after. I'm worried about a transitional clear that could really affect Notorious Legion, but Girlz again controlling midfield, able to stay away out of their box. Now here comes an opportunity. Breezy's going to go off the sidewall. Greasy has to fall back for a boost. Ixo has no chance of going after this, but now he will follow up. But it's taken away by Cash, and again, these individual hits really aren't favoring Girlz. Here comes a follow-up from Breezy, and it's sent away. Back to midfield we go.
Notorious Legion's been doing a fantastic job. You got me excited there. I heard you.
I saw it. I saw it. I was like, oh, it's coming.
Notorious Legion's doing a good job, though, of those mid-air 50-50s. They've won almost every single one. They've been following through perfectly.
They've been able to negate some of these defensive issues with the amount of challenges and intercepts they've won. So, again, just good job of them, just recognizing some mistakes from last season, or excuse me, last week, and finding a way to change that in a week's time, which is not easy. Here comes a carry from Matane. And Ixo takes it away. Up to the ceiling. Now down for Cash. Cash with a shot. Oh, that could be it. Oh! Yes! And that
he did it to him.
That was just a wicked shot.
You hate to see it, but look at Breezy and Greasy holding hands on defense, scared of the offense coming out from Notorious Legion, and they make them pay.